Honda already had one in 1995, BMW in 2003, but Mercedes-Benz and Audi were pretty late to the game. 2008 was when they arrived on the scene, but with consumers now queuing up to get into SUVs, having a B-segment offering is critical. In actual fact, so popular was Audi's first generation Q5 when it launched that it's gone on to become their biggest selling SUV, 1.6 million units sold since launch in 2008, and here in South Africa it came to market in 2009 and has sold 11,300 units. But there are a lot more brands wanting a piece of that premium SUV pie. Will the all-new Q5 be able to keep up that sales trend?
All right, let's address the elephant in the room, shall we? You're probably thinking it doesn't look very different from the old one, but as is often the case, looks are deceiving. New Q5 is not only larger in almost every dimension, but it is also lighter by as much as 90 kilograms, and crucially, it's more aerodynamic. A drag coefficient of just 0.3 is respectable for any car, but almost incredible in an SUV. The improvements made inside are equally subtle, yet impressive, and the new car manages to feel even better made and even more comfortable than before. Visual devices like the three-dimensional trim strip that runs across the width of the dash add width to the interior, but make no mistake, the room in here is no optical illusion. The boot, for instance, can swallow a mammoth 610 litres of luggage. Audi has also thrown in a host of ports, as well as Apple CarPlay to make connecting your smart device that little bit easier. And let's be honest, no contemporary Audi would feel quite so special without the virtual cockpit instrument cluster.
So the changes to the exterior styling, as you saw, are pretty significant, but don't expect anything groundbreaking when you get behind the wheel, and I don't mean that in a bad way. For the longest time now, journalists have been waxing lyrical about how incredible Audi's interiors are, and it's no different in the Q5. It's just a tactile experience that you're going to remember and enjoy. Everything is laid out perfectly, simplified, and enhanced in the Q5. But one thing I've really appreciated of recent times in the Audis is the quality of their drive. Their MLB platform, which is being used across so many of their models, and the dampener and suspension setup on the cars is really working incredibly well. On the new Q5, they've reworked their 5-link suspension system. The dampening is set up perfectly, and gone is this Audi that was choppy and brutal over bumps, and instead it's replaced by something that can just soak up anything that South African roads can throw at it. It is still firm and sure-footed and planted, and when you put it into dynamic mode, you're going to get to experience that even more. But driving in auto or in comfort, this car is comfortable, luxurious, reassuring. The fact that Audi's added their Drive Select as standard is further testimony to the fact that they really are giving a lot of thought in terms of how they structure their products and their offerings. For example, they've simplified every single model now. The Q5 comes out in a base or a sport level with additional specification added to that, and that you're going to see being introduced throughout all of their models going forward. An optional extra is an air suspension, but seriously, I don't think you need it for two reasons. Number one, the quality of the drive in standard is good enough, but the application of the Q5, you don't need to raise ride heights. You're not going bunda bashing. This, after all, is a city SUV. So save your money. You don't need the air suspension. The technology that has been around for a long time with Audi is their Quattro System, and that has been improved. And let me tell you, this for me is actually groundbreaking, because what they've done is they've launched what they call Quattro Ultra, and essentially all it's doing is disengaging the rear axle, so you're not driving in permanent all-wheel drive. Thank goodness. When do you need all-wheel drive? In dodgy conditions and in extreme safety situations, and that it allows you. They've got 150 sensors situated throughout the car that are getting inputs, 100 of them every single second. It makes the car a lot more efficient from a driving perspective, because you're not pushing all-wheel drive all the time. For the Q5, there's a 2-litre TDI, the diesel, or 2-litre TFSI, and then obviously if you are going to go crazy and want ultimate performance, they've got their SQ5 as well. but we've chosen the 2-litre TDI. Now these are engines that have been around for a long time and have done a great job at powering Audis. Looking at the application and how the Q5 is positioned, this would be the car that I would buy. The engineers, as always with latest generation models, have managed to tweak out more power while making the car more efficient as well. So CO2 figures are down, it is way more efficient, but performance now is sitting at 140 kilowatts and 400 Newton meters, and let me tell you, you do not need any more than that. The 7-speed S-tronic transmission, again, technology we know and works like a charm. I've been rather outspoken against our established premium brands offering vehicles that come with literally nothing, yet an option list as long as your arm. I'm happy to report that Audi is starting to make a change, offering a lot more standard specification on their vehicles, and they need to. I mean, when you are paying nearly 700,000 Rand as an entry, you certainly do expect things like leather seats, multifunction steering, 3-way climate control, and a drive select as standard, which they've now done. But they still have some way to go. Things like a rear camera would be nice. The fact that I've got to pay for Apple CarPlay just blows my mind. But we did have a chat with Audi, and they explained to us they're working frantically to actually unbundle their virtual cockpit, their Apple CarPlay, and of course their navigation system. It's one unit. And when they get that right, it'll be awesome, because I would pay extra for virtual cockpit, and who needs navigation when you've got your phone connected to your car? What I do love about the new Q5 is Quattro Ultra. It makes so much sense. 2-wheel drive efficiency, all-wheel drive Quattro safety when needed most. But it's the quality and the comfort of the ride and the insulation inside the cabin that makes this car like a really good red wine. When we drove the first generation, we ended up on a wine farm, and the second generation Q5 has just matured beautifully.